we have the opportunity to walk ahead of this president, to get in front of him. People say, well, should you be with him, should you be against him? Get in front of him. That's what this is. We're getting out in front of this president. Having worked in the White House, the president is a man on a tightrope. You just have to understand that. When you're in the White House, it's just white noise all the time. I mean, you're at the effect of every act of communication on the planet, from North Korea to grandma, all of whom want the president to do something right now. And it's just white noise. So people, we're going to blog at the president, we're going to send a bunch of emails. Look, if we had time to read blogs, you know, it's like, that's not how it works. And then people want the president to lean their way all the time. But he's on a tightrope. If he leans too far your way, he falls off, and then he's just a community organizer again, which we got plenty of community organizers. We don't need him to have that job. The job of folks like us isn't to keep pulling on the president to kind of pull him off the left side of the tightrope. Our job is to move the tightrope. That's our job. Our job is to move the tightrope. And what I'm excited about is that as people have kind of gone through their heartbreak and their, you know, hope bubble bursting or whatever, it's spring again. It's spring again. And my expectation is that people are going to start rolling up their sleeves. We're going to start doing what we do best in our country, which is to fight for these crazy, wild ideas like liberty and justice for all, like America the Beautiful, right? And finding ways to be one country again. The last thing I want to say is it's so important that we hold on to the politics of hope and not get pulled into any kind of politics of hatred, which is not to say we shouldn't stick up for ourselves and defend the truth. But that's the point. The point is to defend the truth. It's not to beat up anybody, but it's to be absolutely so committed to the truth you just can't stand it, and you'll tell the truth even if it hurts. But the point is to speak the truth and not to get pulled into the food fight, because at the end of the day, even if you win the food fight, you lose. We don't want to win the food fight. We want to end the food fight. And that is a spiritual journey. And what nobody wants to admit on our side is that what happened in 2008 wasn't a political movement. It was a spiritual movement. It was a spiritual movement. I mean, nobody to this day can tell you what was on the website, the policy position papers, like, you know, the public option. Nobody was talking about that stuff. People were talking about they were inspired spirit, right? And that's a little awkward for us, mostly secular folks, to admit that a lot of what was going on was a spiritual revival, a revival of the spirit in our country. And the reason that I would say that we have to hold on to the politics of hope, understand that we're the source of it, and we can co-create it with our president on good days, and on bad days we have to just create it on our own. But the reason it's so important to do that is because nobody stays in the White House forever. Trust me, I know. And yet this movement has to go on for a long time. And the moral challenge, I think, that we face now as we go into this year, where it's springtime again, we get to come back, we get to be full of enthusiasm and love for the country and love for what we can do, is if we can dodge the bullet of getting pulled into hatred and say, no, we're still one country. We don't have red states and blue states. We need everybody. The green economy we're building is going to work in red states and blue states. We got hope and help for people in the agricultural heartland as well as the industrial heartland, and we're one country. If we don't get pulled away from that, then this movement can be the transformative movement we've been waiting for. And I just want to honor Paul Hawken. I have a lot of friends in here to honor, like Peter Teague and other people, but I just want to honor Paul Hawken. He is the person, I get all the credit for everything that happened in Oakland. He came to Oakland and gave the speech that got everything started. And one of the things that he said, which I'll close with, is he said he was talking to a little girl trying to explain to her about poverty. And this is Paul Hawkins standing in Oakland, right? And he said he's talking to a little girl, he's trying to explain to her about poverty. He said, I was trying to tell this young girl why people are poor, and I said, well, you know, they can't find jobs, they can't find work. And the little girl said, well, is all the work done? And Paul Hawkins said, no, all the work is not done. And he laid out a vision. He laid out a vision that ordinary people could make those solar panels, make those wind turbines, could repair the land, could upgrade the buildings, could do the dignified work that would bring meaning to a community, but would also bring healing to the earth. And that is the vision that we've held on to. It's gotten me through some tough times, very tough. But by holding on to that faith, I came to something. And what I've come to, sir, is our vision is too beautiful for anybody's hatred to bump it around and dirty it up. All you're going to do is polish it, scrub on it. You just polish it, make it better. And when it gets harder to love, love harder. Thank you.